Hello, everybody. So, I said that I was going to make more spirituality journey type thing videos. So, this one I'm going to talk about astral projection. And so, I'm just going to give two instances. And I apologize ahead of time if I get emotional because they were the most powerful, but also my worst experiences. Like, for what it meant in real life, the things that I projected and saw. So, just want to say that me being like the person that I am, I do not, I can't say I do not at all, but I rarely astral project. Why? Like intentionally do it. I unintentionally do it all the time because my spirit is a busybody. What can I say? It happens often. Like, mm, I don't know, often enough. Maybe monthly or something like that. Sometimes I might skip a month, but my spirit is a busybody, okay? And it just happens. And it's exhausting to me. And yeah, it's exhausting. And I could sleep for 24 hours, maybe 36 hours, maybe more after the fact. But after it happens, like I'm wiped out. But anyway, so both of these instances I did not intentionally, um, I didn't intentionally project. It just happened. So, some years back, actually 9 years back, um, exactly, I was in a relationship with someone. Something went in my eye. Ow. Freaking eyelash. Sorry. Anyway, I was in a relationship with somebody and we had been together for a little bit of time and I got pregnant. And I didn't know that I was pregnant at first. And by the time I found out, it was like, I was probably at least maybe 2.5 months pregnant at the time that I found out that I was pregnant. Like that's when I finally like skipped the period and I was, and the month ended and I went to the doctors at the beginning of the next month and they were like, oh yeah, you're pregnant. So my, um, I'll just be honest. My family doesn't look at my page anyway, so it is what it is. It's not like I'm telling a lie. It's a totally true um, experience. Um, I was pregnant, yeah. And then I told my mom, she started flipping out. I was 19 and she started flipping out. I did not live with her. And saying where was I going to put the baby and what else. Like she just kept calling me all the time and just harassing me. And I started to get really sick. Um, really worried. Really worried because it was like she was putting all of these horrible scenarios in my head about what motherhood is and how horrible it is to have to take care of a child and also that kind of stuff. Like, um, I think that internally, like, it had an effect on me, and I started to get really sick. Like, I couldn't even so much as down water. I would throw up water. Like, I was that sick. I couldn't eat. And then it's like the baby's eating your nutrients, so if you don't eat. I just kept losing weight, and it was really stressing me out. And I went through that for a few weeks, and I don't remember like the day and the hour and all of that kind of stuff. All I know is it was the middle of the day and I went to bed. I was exhausted and I was hungry and I was tired of throwing up and I was just like, whatever, I give up for today. Like, I'm not going to try to eat anything else. I'm going to bed. And it was the middle of the day, like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 or something like that in the afternoon, and I went to sleep. But the reason why at the time, I thought that I was dreaming. And, but, like, there's a difference between projections and dreams. And when you project, the world looks different. So it looks different to me than what a dream looks like. Like dream world looks a certain way and projection world looks a different way. Like if I had to describe it, I would say like when I look around in a projection, it's like somebody turned the contrast up on the TV. Or like, you know, when people mess with the pictures, the color looks a little brighter. It looks a little bit more contrast. It looks I don't want to say psychedelic, but it's just brighter to me. Like I know when I'm projecting. I know when my spirit has decided to project to let me see something or go do something that I need to do. Um, it's really different. It's really different. That's all the best way I can describe it. Like if you haven't projected before, you will know the difference. Everything's in the same exact place versus in a dream. I'm never in my own house. I'm always in some house that I never actually lived in this lifetime. But I know this house very well. So I knew like in the dream that I wasn't dreaming. I just didn't know what projections were at the time. Even though I had been projecting for a long ass time. A long ass time. I have another story just now that I just thought about it, but I'm not going to tell that one because I really do cry every single time. But anyway, I'm trying not to be all emotional like that. But anyway, so in this particular projection, it's like I open the door to my mother's house. I walk in. I know it's the projection because nobody can see me. This is the middle of the day, mind you, that I'm having this dream. So it wasn't uncommon that my mom would be home from work. And so I'm walking around and I realize, okay, nobody else can see me. My sister walks right by me at the time. You know, just my two sisters live with my mom. And one of them walked right by me and I was like, hey, you don't see me standing here? And she just like kept walking. So I was like, oh, this stuff again. Because at the time I was really spiritually unaware of anything. I just, you know what I mean? Like you just know that you're projecting, whether you know or don't know, if that makes sense. But anyway, I was like, and I could hear my mom's voice going on and she kept saying my name. And so I got closer. I walked up. Once I'm really like, okay, they don't know I'm here. So I walked and stood like in the doorway of the kitchen and she was in the kitchen and one of my sisters was at the table and the other one just walked up. The one that walked by me. And so my mom's like, oh, she doesn't know what she's doing with that baby. I'm going to take it. And my other sister was like, what you mean you're going to take her baby? Like, how can you say that? And she was like, I can do it because her boyfriend is not even a citizen. What is he going to do about it? And all that kind of stuff. And she was like, she doesn't know what she's doing. That house that they live in is old. I can get it because my house is newer. I can get the child from her. I can declare her an indecent mother and all this other kind of stuff. Like she just kept going on and on and on. And I'm hearing it word for word. Like this bitch is really talking about me and my baby and what she was going to do. And as I walked around the house, like I'm still listening to her, mind you, because you have that ability to hear from far away when you're projecting. Like in real life, I probably wouldn't have been able to hear her from upstairs. And something just told me to look around. And we had just been talking on the phone, but I hadn't actually seen my mom. She had just been calling me and harassing me. I hadn't actually gone to her house. And so I walk around in this particular projection in the house, and there's a crib up. She had decorations inside of a box, like she was collecting stuff. There was decorations, like a baby room type decoration. She had blankets, all this stuff, and I just barely got pregnant. Like just barely got pregnant. And like I'm starting to feel all of these emotions. Like I'm angry as all get out in this projection, because how dare you speak about me behind my back and then speak about me like that way, like I'm a drug addict or something. Like just because you don't like where I live at, you don't like the person that I'm dating or who's going to be the father of my child, that you feel like it's your right to take someone's child. Like I was just trembling with anger in this projection. Like I was pissed. And another reason, like, that really clarified as being a projection, like when I get really, really angry, if I can't express it properly, I cry. I'm not the only person. And I cry. And so when I woke up, I was so pissed off, so angry, so surprised, so hurt, and like so in disbelief, so everything. Like it was just so many emotions swarming in my head. I busted out crying. And my boyfriend came in the room and he was like, "What's the matter? Is something wrong? Is your stomach hurting? We need to go to the hospital." Like he just thought something, like I was in pain or something with this baby. And I'm like, I just couldn't stop crying. I couldn't stop crying for the longest time. And then he was like, "Are you gonna tell me?" And I finally told him, and he was like, "Oh shit." And he was like, "I don't know why, but I believe you. Like I believe that she would do something like that." And it was just weird, like between the two of us. And I remember I called my grandmom and I said it, and I told her that I had a dream. And my grandmom was like, "Well, that's interesting." And she was like, "Because your mom is acting pretty creepy, like she's obsessed right now, talking about you and this baby." And I'm just like, what am I gonna do? And so the funny thing is, like, I just got super duper confident, and I just got super duper confident. I called my sister up, right? I was like, "Where's mommy?" She's like, "Oh, she's upstairs asleep or whatever." By that time, it was later in the evening, like maybe 10 or 11, and I was like, "What did she say about me?" And my sister's like, "What do you mean, what did she say about you?" I was like, "Today. She said something about me today. Like, what has she been saying? What did she say?" And she was like, "Oh, she said she was like, oh, let me walk outside or whatever." And then she walked outside and closed the door behind her, and she was like, "She said she was going to take your baby," and all this other kind of stuff. And I was like, I fucking knew it. Like, I knew it. Like, dreams can't be that precise. Let me tell you, dreams can never be that precise. They can give you plenty of messages and stuff like that, but there's nothing like a projection. And I'm not going to get all into the drama of all of that kind of stuff, but a few months down the road, I lost that very same child. But I think all of the stress and all of the everything just, I mean, I don't think a lot about it anymore. It's just now I'm at peace with it. Like, but before I couldn't be at peace with it. I felt like it was my fault. I felt like I shouldn't have let myself be so affected by other people around me about what they thought about me. Like, I was just a total wreck, an emotional wreck um, at that age. But anyway, that's the first experience. And sorry, this video is long. But the second one, this same boyfriend, fast forward like 4 years, and we really shouldn't have been together at that time. It was totally over. But I think we both like just had an attachment. Like, we couldn't get over each other. Like, you're just used to each other. You don't want to move on because you're used to that person. Excuse me. Even though I was really young, and he was older than me by a lot, and his family has started to move their way into our lives. And for one, his mother started staying, and I was not cool with that, because not because she was his mother, but because she wasn't a mother. She abandoned him in their country, just like left him and his sister with the grandmother, and didn't send $1 of nothing or nothing to make sure that they were fed well or treated well, or, you know what I mean, like, not wards of the state or nothing. Like, she didn't check on them. Like, she just left them. She even went and raised somebody else's kids with some other man, raised somebody else's kids, and then she came to the US, and just never really being a mother to them. So I didn't really like her. Like, I don't respect people like that. Obviously, if I was a mother, I definitely would treat my child like that. So I didn't really respect her, like, as a human being. Like, who does that? But anyway, that's beyond the fact. I get mad to think about that woman because I don't like her. But I don't like her. But I don't like people. I'm like really vocal about the fact that I don't like them. But she would not go away. And I had tried to get rid of her several times. Like, I tried to get her out of our space. And she would go live with somebody else, and the next thing you know, she was back. And in this particular instance, she almost died. And somebody took her to the hospital. And she ended up getting, like, open heart surgery. She had, like, a extremely bad pneumonia infection. That's what she was dying from. And she ended up getting open heart surgery. And she's so terrible of a person that no one wanted her in their house. No one. Not. She has 4 brothers and sisters that live here in the U.S., and none of them would take her into her house. Not to mention nieces and nephews and all of that kind of stuff. No one wanted her. No one would take care of her. So my boyfriend was like, oh, she asked everybody else. I'm her son. She can't not stay here and all sorts of kind of stuff. And I was like so pissed. I was like, neither can you. I was like, she has 2 weeks. While that nurse is here, she has 2 weeks, and she needs to go back to wherever the fuck she was living at. Like, I did not want her there. Because she was constantly making him drink all the time. Like, I don't know why she did that. Maybe so she thought that if he was drunk, he wouldn't be, like, coherent. Like as if he wouldn't see her for who she is or something. I don't know what her issue was with that. But she was always making him drink. And I know he's an adult. He can refuse to drink if he wanted to. That's true. But it just made me mad because when she wasn't around, he didn't bother. He would have a few drinks like a normal person. But it was like when she was around, he would drink to the point of no end and just get on my nerves and make a lot of noise and stuff, and we have to go to work and things like that. Like, it was just irritating me. But like I said, you get accustomed to people, right? So anyway, that's beyond the point because we're not even together. But in this particular projection, it was the strangest freaking thing. The strangest thing. So, this is freaking crazy. In the projection, what happened in real life was I was working a job that was sort of night shift, sort of not. It was from 5 p.m. to 2 a.m. And I had another job. And I was tired because I worked that morning. I think I worked like 8 to 2 or something like that, or 8 to 3. And I just took a nap. And then I went to the other job. So I was really tired. And I remember that I went out in the parking lot. And the weird thing is, like, I just remember going in the parking lot. And I'm in the parking lot. And I guess I was like, I can't drive home because I probably lived a good 30 minutes, 30, maybe 40 minutes away from that particular job. And I was just like, I'm going to take a little nap and then I'll drive home because it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Like, I don't want to be out here and get hit by a drunk driver or something. Who knows? But anyway, I was like, I'm just going to take a 30-minute nap. And I closed my eyes. And in the dream or projection, because like I said, it's too real looking. Like, anyway, like I knew I was projecting when it happened to me. It almost happens to me every time I'm like freaking sleep to the point of comatose. But anyway, in the dream, I pulled up in the driveway, parked my car, took the key out the ignition. I walk up the stairs, everything normal. I unlocked the door and everything. And his mom slept in the living room on the couch because she said that was easiest for her to get up from. Like, if you have open heart surgery, you're not supposed to use pressure to get up. So basically, she had to cross her arms over her shoulder and sit up using her abs. And so she said it was easiest to do on the couch, so that's where she slept at. And that's where she stayed most of the day, except for walking around on duh. But anyway, so the first thing I noticed when I got in there is that she wasn't on the couch. And I'm thinking to myself, like, where's she at? And we had a roommate in the other room. And I don't know why. I thought about checking their room first because I kept hearing this noise. And I'm like, what the hell is this noise? And then I was like, well, maybe somebody's in there with him. I don't know. But I don't disrespect people like that. I didn't open the door. But something told me to, like, be really quiet. So I'm walking up, like tiptoeing up, walking up to my bedroom door. And, like, this is really gross. This is kind of graphic. I should have said that it was graphic ahead of time. But I walked up to the door And I cracked it open just a little bit, just enough to see inside. And they didn't even notice me, which they weren't gonna notice me because I wasn't there. And they're fucking. And mother and son. And in this projection, like when I saw that, I was like flabbergasted. Like I can't even explain the kind of shock that I went through seeing that. I fell on my ass in the house. And then I was like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. And it was like, the funny thing was when I was saying I gotta get out of here, when I ran out the door, I jumped back in my body. And I all of a sudden woke up like, what the fuck? I was like, I gotta get home, gotta get home. And I get home, like I'm speeding like crazy to get home. Like, is this real? Is this real? Like, am I really about to go home and catch them in this act? Is this real? And I get home and she was awake, which I found strange because she was never awake. No matter how many times I got home that late, she was not awake. So she was awake and sitting up on the couch. And she was like, oh, blah, 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 blah. You got here kind of late. I got worried. I was like, you know what? What are you worried for? Like, I'm not your child. I was like, I'm fine. And I went in the room and it was like, I don't know. I got a feeling that he was pretending to be asleep. And the weird thing was we had a fight and I was like, why are you always talking to her? Like, she acted as if she was his girlfriend all the time. Like, when I make him a cup of coffee, she would make him a cup of coffee. If I make him a plate of food, she would try to cook something else. Like, she was always constantly acting like she was in competition with me. And other people even, pointed out to her. She would always try to rationalize it. So having that kind of dream or type of vision or projection, like, I knew it was real. Like, I knew it. And the funny thing is that I'm going to try to wrap this up for I promise. But the weird thing was even after that, in my mind, I convinced myself that it wasn't real. And that it was just something of my imagination. Nothing like that really happened. And it was funny because we started arguing one day and I blurted it out. And he was just like, oh, how dare you say something like that. But in the actual projection, I knew that it was real. I knew that he was doing it, and I knew that he was drunk. But I felt like he was more than drunk. Like, I felt like maybe there was some other drug involved, but I'm not sure what. And then, like, repeatedly, right behind this, I would say maybe the following week, maybe 2 weeks after that, I had a dream. And this, I was dreaming. I knew that wasn't real. But in the dream, I was watching myself, like, be asleep next to my boyfriend. Like, I'm aware. Like, I'm laying down in the bed next to him. I'm asleep. But that's exactly what we're doing in real life. We're asleep in the same bed. Anyway, in the dream, it's like, I turn around and I see this old man, like, wizard-looking man, like, from a movie or something, where they had them pointy hats. And he has this long, scraggly, gray beard. And he's wearing some kind of cloak. And I'm like, what the hell is this old man doing on the end of my bed, right? In the dream. And he has this bag that's moving. And I'm like, like, I'm watching him curiously, like, what is this bag? Like, what is this old man doing in my house? And the next thing I know, he throws, tilts the bag and throws the contents, which are, I don't know how many snakes. I jolted out of that bed. Like, when I say I jolted out of that bed, I jumped up so fast to run towards the door that my boyfriend was right behind me. Like, this is real life. And I'm up to the front door, and he was like, what the hell are we running for? I was like, the snakes. And he was like, what snakes? And I was just like, oh, snap. Like, that was a dream. Like, it was super real. But I understood it. Like, the person that's in your bed is deceiving you. Like, that's all that meant. And it seemed as though they was it was like poisonous black and red ones and big ones, and it was just so many snakes. It was so gross. And I was just like, oh my God. Like I saw it in the projection that something was really wrong and really going wrong. And and he was always talking about other women and stuff like that all the time. Like, seeing somebody was pretty, or somebody was this, or he found somebody to be attractive, or they talked to him or hit on him or gave them his number. Like, it was always something. But like that's the spirit world, like really, really mourning you, like for real. But anyway, that was my 2 worst projection experience. Sorry the video was long. And yeah, good night. Bye.